All right, we're going to start off with another one. Adele.
Members only, it's a private party. Don't need no money.
It's your song, Cassie. I'm claiming it.
Don't bring your checkbook, bring your broken heart. Cause it's members. Say you lost your woman, say you lost your man. You got a lot of problems.
Black and Steam.
So what's happening with you?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, just got off work, about to head to the house. Seeing you went on live, I figured I'd pop on in.
Okay. I just started seeing you like maybe 2 weeks ago. I started seeing your name.
Yeah. I'm kind of new to Instagram, so.
Okay. Do you have any?
What's the topic?
Tonight's topic is placeholder relationship. And do you have an opinion about either side? So there's two sides to every coin, right? So one side is I'm using this very loosely, you're settling for this person because you know this is not the person you want to be long term. But they provide benefits. For example, if you're a man with a woman, she's giving you sex, she cooks every now and then, she ain't that bad looking, so at least you got something to poke. And you know, if you want to go somewhere, you always got a date, you always got somebody to talk to. Or if you're a woman, you got a man, you got somebody to poke you, you got a date, you got somebody to wash your car, put gas in it, whatever. But do you see this person long term? Hell no, you don't even like them like that. But you like them enough to be in a relationship until the better person, the better version comes along.
My opinion of it is that I think it's a bit malicious to do that. I mean, if you're doing it, I mean, we're all human, right? We all do things we're not proud of. I think it's especially if you got kids with this person, or let's say you're married to this person. I think that's a very selfish and malicious thing to do to somebody's time and their life and their confidence and all that.
Okay. Well, check this out. Would you agree that if a man is dating a woman longer than 18 months, he does not have intent to marry?
Well, see, my view of marriage just recently changed, but I would say if it's been 18 months, he probably not thinking about it if it's been that long.
My point exactly. So I'm saying if he's been in a relationship with her, say for example, 2 or 3 years, he's just in a relationship with her. He's not, because like if you're past 35, I don't know how old you are, but if you're past 35, you're trying to date with some kind of intent. You're not just gonna be hanging out with somebody for 10 fucking years. That's what I'm saying. So I might stay a little rough around the edges, but I'm trying to get a point across. Like and women don't want to hear, oh, he's gonna come around, I'm gonna give him another year. That motherfucker does not need another year. He's just gonna to draw resources, which is sex, food, and the fact that you should be attractive. Now, if you don't look like shit and you don't ever go nowhere, yeah, that's a problem. Because that means all I do is go to cookouts and he don't ever want to go nowhere, then he's not attracted to you no more. Hell, he probably only having sex with you once a month. Not my fault though.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a red flag. I don't know how dudes do that. You got a cow at the house. I don't know how they be doing that. How do you go with somebody that's super unattractive to you? I personally can't do it.
Yeah, I don't condone that. I'm just trying to have a conversation because there's people on both sides. Some people know that they're just like let's just say if you have an attractive woman and you're a blue collar guy, and she the one got her master's, she got another degree, she got 2, 3 businesses, she's hustling.
It ain't gonna work.
You still just happy with whatever your little poop for the ass job. You make 45 or 50. Now she's in 6 figures, and now she's wearing Louis Gucci thing, and she ain't buying you shit. She just paying her part, you know. And then it's like it's been 2 years though. Yeah, y'all ain't going nowhere because then, yeah,
It's not gonna work. I've never seen that successful where the lady like is like, especially if they're younger. I've never seen that work where the lady makes much more money than the guy. Never seen it work, ever, not once. It's always, oh, they cheated. Oh, I need a real man, or he feels so emasculated he gonna cheat. I've never seen that ever work. Just biology. It just won't allow your woman to be so vastly ahead of you financially. Hey, you're just happy and content, and she's happy and content. This materialistic world we live in, with all this social media, if you watch any TV at all, you won't be able to do that. Period. You're gonna have to live off in the woods somewhere for that to be successful.
Do you think there's a dollar that a woman can make more than a man and it's costing the relationship?
Oh, sorry, you broke up a little bit. What'd you say?
Do you think there's a dollar amount, for example, 25, 35, 45, 50,000? If a woman makes that much more, then the relationship is gonna dissolve itself.
I think even if she brings the same amount of money, because it's psychological. She all day she hears, "Oh yeah, girl, yeah, girl, women run the world." It's all psychological. She's getting her ego bigged up all the time. Oh, you deserve more. You deserve more. What? You know, what? Y'all make the same money? Oh no, girl. It's a constant psychological driving. And I think that's why a lot of relationships today won't be successful, purely because of social media and our expectations and what we think a marriage should be and what a woman should be and how a marriage should be. And if you have a constant ego-driven ideal or a narrative all the time, all day, yeah, Beyonce, oh yeah, I don't need no nigga, sexy, all the females, oh yeah, I don't need no man, get the bag. Everyone mentions all that but love. Everybody, all these conversations we hearing about, it's always about money, love. I've watched my parents; they had every fucking thing. They had everything: houses, cars. My father was a senior engineer. They needed nothing, and it still didn't work out. It still wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. If you're chasing the bag, if that's on your mind, I don't think anything. It'll just be an arrangement. I don't think anything will be successful, to be honest with you.
Do you think a lot of transactional in 2023?
I would say most, and that's why things are so miserable. That's why things are so detached, because you have this idea of wealth and this idea that, well, if I get the bag, okay, well, you got the bag, then what? What now? Okay, let's say you get the bag. Well, what's left of life now? You got it.
I have a problem when people say they're going to get the bag and you ask them what's left over they have as far as disposable income, and they're quiet. Because that's what the bag
Exactly
be about: amassing wealth,
right.
not living check to check. You want to live. You don't want to live a month. You want to live 6 months.
Exactly.
Like that. But people that look like me and you, they're not doing that shit. I'm not checking for money. I'm just, on average, that is not a normal thing.
No. Well, that's because wealth like that and the real bag, that's why every other society, every other race of people is so much far ahead, because they understand that marriage is much more than, oh, now love is important. But if you're focused on building generational wealth, a marriage is just as much a commercial union as it is love too. You can, and it's okay to not have the commercial side of it. You can love each other, but y'all gonna be broke. But that's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. There's no shame in that. I think it's very honorable to finish your life out being happily married, successfully married. I think that's a great feat. However, every other race of people, they have their families strong. Your wife, everyone plays their role. Okay, we got the what? We got we got the business over here. We got the cleaners. We got this, and we know to never have this unity, because this unity breeds poverty, incarceration, children out of wedlock, So that's I just don't think that anything could really survive the spiral that it's in right now, because everything is okay. Get the bag, and most people, like you say, they live in paycheck to paycheck, and they might be making good money, but if you can't manage the money well, if you can't manage your private personal relationships, you probably ain't managing money well either. It's all synergistic. Most of these people ain't getting shit. They get their little money, and then they blow it, and they can't make it out of 6 months.
So I got two good questions for both of you. Hey Kyle, what's up, man?
What's going on? Hey, before you hit that question, can I say something on that, what y'all was talking about? Because I won't be able to be on long. The bag. I keep hearing everybody talking about the bag. There's two things with the whole premise behind the bag. First thing is knowing what is the bag. You guys having a tangible goal, having an actual goal of what are you guys trying to reach, a certain amount of money that you're bringing in. And then the second thing is what happens when you get it. Okay, so you work
Right.
together to get the bag, and then what? What happens when you get it? Because it's a never-ending race. It's a rat race. It's never ending. Once you make once you make $20,000, if you've never made 10, or all you make is 10. Once you make 20, you're like, man, I can make 30. Once you make 30, you see somebody else that's making 40 or 50. You're like, man, we can do that. That's how it works. But like this gentleman said, nobody's talking about love or any of the other components necessary. That was all I want to say.
Um, damn it, I lost my full train. So actually, what is a placeholder relationship? Placeholder relationship. What's up, Dre? A placeholder relationship is you're in a relationship with somebody you don't want to marry, but you're in a quote unquote monogamous committed relationship. Walk around with them, you might live with them, but you don't marry them, and you don't intend to be long term. So if anybody you deem is more worthy or qualified than them, you're going to replace them with the newer model. Not new in age, but just not new to the life, but new to you. And that goes for both sides. And I kind of broke it down a little bit more, but that's the general synopsis. And a lot of people are in placeholder relationships. And I say that a man who's with a woman, if he's with her longer than 18 months, he does not intend to marry her. And unless he says, I want to marry you, I'm going to get you this ring now, but this is not the ring that's going to be destined for you. But I need to let you know that I'm serious about you. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm in my normal spot. So
You said you had two questions for both of us. Do you remember what they were?
no, that's why I went ahead and went with the other thing.
Hey, well, if you want me to give you something to talk about, we could talk about why that Cash App. We could change that Cash App, this $ Kyle C. McDuffie. We could do that to help you out a little better.
That's going to help me out, sir.
Yeah, because I'm going to donate to you after that. I'm going to donate. I'm going to donate a portion, just like people with these when they say, "Hey, will you help in this or help in that?" I'm going to donate to you. It's got to be at least 15%, but I'm going to donate it to you.
You sound like a 501c3.
I'm a nonprofit, yet I continually make profit. Right?
There you go.
Is that my auntie? Oh, my man said, "There you go."
Auntie Benita.
Hi.
Benita. How are you
I'm
doing,
I'm holding this cheesecake right now.
Hey.
I want a long
Let me get a bite.
relationship with benefits. I agree, Blue, with you 100%. I never understood them. When I came to the South is when I seen a lot of relationships just stagnant. They're just together. In our community, mainly. I've worked in corporate America, and I've seen a lot of young girls married that were not our community. And I talked to them, what made you guys get married so young, right after college? I have these conversations, and just what's the narrative was pushed in their foundations or different things, but in our foundations, it's not pushed as hard. I'm not saying all, but it's not pushed as hard. And I know, even in my family, I have my mother's mother, which is white, on my white side of the family, everybody's married since they were young. Same person forever. And unless someone died and they got a new husband, but they continue to marry fast, quick. The white people, I seen it. Cuban side, only my tia Rosa, my tia, couple of my tia, all of my, yeah, my Cubans, the Cuban sides are married. They're married. But the black, no, nobody. They've been together 15 years, not married. Nobody married. Nobody. Not one. I'll be the first. I was the first, and I was 20. So, even my mom, she wasn't married to my dad. She was with him 26 years. She didn't marry him. They didn't have a wedding. They were just together. So again, when I moved to the South, of course, it's more black people. I'm from Sacramento. I started seeing it more and more and more, more and more and more, more and more and more. When I was living in Memphis, college, I seen it. White girls married. A bunch of the black community, just relationships, 5 years, 4 years. I'd be like, why are y'all together? What are y'all doing? I never understand. I still don't know how that math. It doesn't math to me. And I'm confused on why people stay in relationships. And I understand some people don't desire marriage. I hear that more and more and more now, but I've been down south for at least 18 years. So I hear it more now that people are starting to go against marriage. But what is the real reason for that autopilot placeholding relationships they're holding?
Some states like Georgia, they have a common law. So if they're together, live together, and they're with you, I think it's 8 years in Georgia, they're common law. So you might as well have done it, because if you separate and that person files like, oh, I'm used to this particular standard of living, and they left, then you got to pay what you weigh.
You know what? Hold on. Nayana, why did you ask me about what is common law marriage 2 days ago? You said, what is common law? Why did you ask me that? They talk about it at school? Why?
This reminds me of something that you told me the other day.
Wow.
You know what it reminds
So
me?
my daughter's best friend told her that she believes in life partners and not marriage. And she's only 17.
But I told her that if you're living with them 7 years, you're married anyway.
Who you hear that from? She said, and she told her, no, if you live together for 7 years, y'all are considered married anyway. I said, who'd you hear that from? She said, about you. When did you hear me say that? Stay on my business. Don't come ask me questions. No, but that's incorrect. So that was California.
Oh.
No, but she don't need to repeat that.
Hold on, Auntie. Hey, seriously?
She be in my business.
She went into mama mode real quick. I know all the men on here for a second. You remember when that mama tone came out? She went into mama mode for a minute. And that mama tone, I was like, am I in trouble? I had to ask for a second.
She was talking to me about my aunt and my uncle because they've been together for like, I want to say 7 or 8 years now.
Right.
Right. So she was telling me about common law because they're not married. They're just together, but haven't gotten married yet. So
I don't honor it.
So
we were talking.
So basically, you were not guilty. You weren't
She
guilty in no
guilty.
business. She told you that.
She
Not
guilty
guilty. If
because
the glove does not fit.
she's spreading that to her friends, but she need to talk to me of why I said it to her.
If the glove
I
does
don't
not
want that
fit, you
spread
must have quit.
They need to get married.
No, seriously, that's. I think that's something that's fantasy that people are like trying to push on everybody. That was pushed on us as men. Y'all remember how it was when you were younger, and the reason that stuff that was pushed on us when we were younger, the reason why we bought into it so much is because we saw that those men that acted like that were getting results. So it wasn't just a one side type thing. It's both sides have a part to play in this whole thing. Everybody wants to be Scarface, but nobody wants to be him at the end of the movie. That's just how it goes.
Hey, look,
Everybody wants to
stop it when he got the man. I don't know shit after that.
You say what happened?
My Scarface got in the mansion. I don't know nothing.
Oh yeah. After that, I was done. I'm done too. I think, okay, hey, you know what? You probably don't need me no more, man. Keep that girl, because there's so many girls in Miami. All of Miami. I'm gonna decide to pick her. Everybody, keep your girl.
Can I ask
got
women?
I'm good. Oh,
Can I ask you men this? Because I've been talking to a couple of men lately. And I also seen that Jeezy was getting a divorce, and I read the article, the actual article, and that they had a prenup. And I don't know if anybody knows the real reason why they're getting a divorce, but he had a prenup.
What's the real reason?
Because a comment made in 2014.
Because of what?
A comment made in 2014.
Did she make?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
Oh, okay.
About the side? Are you talking about the side?
Black meat on the side, white meat keeps her lean and healthy, and that's why she marries white men.
Wow.
Black men are side meat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dark meat.
It wasn't really thought out too
Black
well.
men are dark meat, and that's why she marries white, because it keeps her lean and clean or something.
Wow.
What's she gonna do about her baby? Who's a black baby?
Well, they're gonna get joint. He filed it, so he asked for joint legal custody. He's giving her joint custody.
But listen, this is not people that work at Blockbuster. Oh, Blockbuster ain't here no more. This ain't somebody that works at the Shell station and Safeway. These people, they are good.
Okay.
They're okay.
But that's what I want to ask you guys. I have a homeboy. He has a girl that he ended up getting pregnant 2 times during the pandemic.
Oh, God.
Everybody different. Okay, not judging him.
Sheesh.
He was dating her 3 years prior. She a little off, so he was trying his best to give her a place to stay during pandemic when it happened. End up having 2 beautiful kids. They are in a semi-relationship. She wants to be married, of course. He's a sergeant in the military. Great guy. Taking on, he's a great dad. He's doing everything. She's even still in the house. But the reason he hasn't married her is because of her behaviors. I'm not going to list her behaviors, but her behaviors and her taking. She's a taker.
Well,
so,
DJ, you don't have to go into detail, but you got to give us an idea of what we're talking about so that we can give you an honest answer.
Okay. She won't go get a job. It's been 3 years. Her kids are 2 and 4. She won't get a job at all. She will not work. She was supposed to go to school. She told him she never went back to school. So she doesn't work. She sits up. He gave her a credit card because that's the mother of his children. She runs it up massively all the time. And she does not work. And she also does not cook, and she does not clean.
Wow.
So he takes care of her.
Over there.
That sounds familiar.
So pause. So he's been my friend for years though, way before her. So he had a lunch meeting with me, and he was telling me, he's just like, she wants to get married, but he looked at me, he's like, but Marie, like, I worked all my life for what I have. I'm not about to, like, my kids, I'll stay for my kids, but I'm not marrying her. She's not about to she already taken me for a lot. I'm not about to marry her. And if I do, I'm signing a prenup. And I told her that, and she is cutting up about it. Am I wrong for that? So is he wrong? And are men now protecting their assets? Is that why they're not getting married as well?
Y'all go. I'll go last.
All right. You want to go, sir? I don't know your name.
Black.
What's your name?
Black and Steve. I think if he marries her, that would be very foolish, because when you enter a union with somebody, your intention should be pure. And I've always thought, prior to my little situation, I thought that if I enter a union and there's anything like, well, what if it fails? Then you're almost kind of saying like, well, you're kind of laying the framework for it to fail, because in the back of your mind, well, I got other options, right? And to me, that's just not a true, you're not really together if you have to think of a fail-safe. And you should be focused on really building something. So by him saying no, I think that he should just, either shit or get off the pot, either get her out your house, split up, but don't have her just in the house and y'all just kind of going through this little shit. He shouldn't marry her. He's definitely not wrong. So he shouldn't, because this is going to be financial ruin for him.
So
it's the worst thing you can do.
She's Mexican. She's from actually Texas. So she threatens him to take his children back while he's actively. It's that So he's controlling. I told him that. I was like, so instead of getting her a place or putting her by herself, he's like, no, I want her in my house because she's a liability. She will take off with my children.
Damn, that's tough.
She's
The thing is, though, if she's in his house, she could still take off with the kids when he's not there. That's
either
the
way.
thing that.
Well, not when you're fully being taken care of, and she comes from a poor Mexican family.
Trust me, I've seen it. It can happen. The people when people want to leave, if people are that vile, they will leave. They can leave.
Absolutely.
When they're that vile. Not everybody is good like you or like you, Blue. Sir, and you said your name was one more time? Your actual name? Yeah.
Blackenstein.
All right, I'll call you Black. All right, so I'll call you Black. It's weird me calling another grown man Black. Hey, Black and Steamy. Let me ask. It's weird. It's weird. It's a weird question for me.
It's Aaron, by the way.
Aaron, what's going on? Aaron, I like talking to men. I like talking to men and women by the name. Aaron, what's good? What's good?
How you doing?
Yeah, what's up? I agree with you 100%. I agree. My whole thing is like this. It's twofold. It's like if I have to like do a prenup to marry you, I don't need to marry you.
Oh.
That's real. And the second thing is that's just how I feel. And I get people like, oh, you got to protect your money. Then why am I getting married? I don't need to marry her. If I got to protect my money from her,
right.
If we don't even have that kind of trust like that, I feel as though I need a binding contract to protect my money from you. Then what are we getting married for? We can be the longest running couple in the history of life. That's how
So my question's not if he should marry her. He does not want to marry her. And he's saying if I did, it would be a prenup. She's trying to.
Well, that's why I was getting. Okay.
So my question more or less is prenup a reason to not get married, and why our men are so getting less married because of their success?
No, I don't think it's a matter of, for me, I'm just basing this off me. For me, it's not a matter of success. I think a lot of times when we're laying down with different people, the first time, yeah, that's an accident. If you actually allow the second time to occur, that's a careless choice, in my opinion. I'm not trying to judge nobody, but in my opinion, we all have made those before.
Right.
So like my man said, you got to piss or get off the pot. Either like you got to step up, do that, or you just got to get rid of it. Get rid of it and try to do this as amicably as possible. Like piss or get off the pot, as they say.
Okay. What about you, Blue?
I think that if he's actually rich and wealthy, I'm not questioning it, but he's rich and wealthy, and he's providing a lifestyle to a female. He presents a prenup, and she knows that she's impoverished without him. She should be happily signing that, because without his lifestyle, she wouldn't be able to afford the lifestyle that she has. So this is just consequences. And if she's married, then she's gonna reap the reward. So what's the problem? Unless you're intending to leave him to try to take from what he has amassed without you. So yeah, and his he needs to he can't get out of the situation. But he needs to.
Hey, I agree with you, Blue. I agree with you. But isn't there there's also that question? We all know what we tell other people, but we also know about those pillow talk conversations. All of us know about them because all of us have done it, but we didn't want to do it. Where you sit and talking to them after you had your interaction. Obviously, there's two babies, so we know what I'm talking about. After that interaction, and you talking to each other, and one person actually believes that more than the other, or maybe look too deep into that. These things happen. So when you involve matters of the heart and involve life, bro, that's when it gets way too murky for that. The first one, mistake, yeah. The second one, that's tough, bro. That's tough. Can you really blame somebody when they actually? Okay, but can you really blame somebody? You could be good with it. That's true, and that's okay. And what's your favorite dessert? What's your favorite dessert? Okay, mine is peach cobbler. We have different likes and different dislikes. People are gonna feel a certain way, but like, I can't say the person is wrong for being offended or hurt that the person called out a prenup, because they probably are thinking in their head, hey, listen, I gave you life, I'm gonna take care of these kids, I'm gonna take care of you, and they're probably doing, these are the things I do well, right? These are the things I bring to the table. Not everybody has these other things that we might be thinking, okay, they're just not doing nothing. Those might be the skills. A lot of us think that we want a traditional woman, right? We're supposed to be protect and provide. I hear you talk about that a lot, Blue. Protect and provide, right? And her job is to do what, in your opinion?
Oh, you want the paragraph form?
No, just a cliff note. Give me a cliff note.
She's soft and she needs to love the man that she's with.
Right. And so if she's doing that, she's probably thinking, hey, listen, you're doing your part, but I'm doing mine too. That's where it gets tough.
Not
How do you judge it?
not this lady.
Well, we don't know this lady. You don't know. Only thing we know what someone told, what a friend told another friend that's telling us. That's what we know. Right? So, and unless you
I know this
know all
lady. I know this lady. She know
She's
herself
scared
too.
of her.
It's not a joke story. It's not an IG story. It's a truth. It's a true man. A true man that comes from a great family, Black man that messed around with a girl for a couple years. She needed help and he moved her in. And I know he loves her, but her behavior, she like I said, she doesn't work. She's not productive. And the main thing that hurts him the most is that she's not an unsafe mother. So she goes out and gets drunk, uses his money, buys these outfits, expensive stuff, runs his money up, go get drunk, come back home, throwing up. The kid's got to be to school. She can't do it. He has to get up, be late for work. He goes on base. He has to take his kids to school because he has a drunk Latin girl laying on the floor. Like, it's embarrassing. He's trying to therapeutically help her, but he doesn't want her to take off with his kids. So he's like always asking me, should I just marry her? Because I don't want her to leave. And I'm like, she don't want a prenup, so she fights you about it. Like, no, don't marry her.
You know,
If I can say
I hear
something
you
to
on
that man, if I can say something to him, then I got to go. And it's for everybody. You cannot love someone to the point to where they're going to reciprocate that. That's if she's not doing it now, if her behavior is bad, there is nothing. I've been through the same shit. There's nothing you can sacrifice or do for a person like that. They're like a scorpion. They're gonna sting the shit out of you. It won't matter if you pet them, give them water, give them a home, love them. They're still gonna fucking bite you. There's nothing you can do. So these people are flawed, broken. I don't know what the problem is, but there's no loving somebody like that. And so, I just love her. So you gonna take care of her. You gonna put up with all her shit, endangering the kids. She probably cheating on you. You ain't got loyalty. She might bring a disease in the house or another nigga's baby. You still gonna keep loving her though, right? Keep on loving her. You can't outlove that.
You know what? I hear you on that. But I hear you on that. But to quote my man, the great Prince Hakeem, one cannot fly into flying. Someone just doesn't become that. These things have been there before. So you would have seen someone acting like that. Like, people don't just all of a sudden become violent or all of a sudden become alcoholics.
Right.
It grows into a very big problem. So that means that this was here before and you were okay with it before. So at what point do you have a social responsibility? Like, if you're protecting and provide, you're also supposed to protect your person from themselves when they're out of place. To, like, let them know, hey, yo, what you doing? This ain't how I rock. I ain't rocking with this. Right? So like not to start a fight. It's not saying somebody's not doing it. I'm not dogging nobody out, but I'm just saying, with everything that we ever deal with somebody else, we have to assume a small bit of responsibility. If we've had 2 babies with them, if we've spent over more than 3 years with them, we have to assume some responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not taking responsibility off of him. I tell him all the time, just get her a place, and he's like, hell no. He's like, she gonna be drunk having people he wants control. So he bought a home. She's in the home. And I told him he treats her, it's basically she's a dog.
Hey,
Housed her. He housing her.
Blackenstein, before you go, Brother Darkness, I'm using it again. Dropped. You cannot love somebody. Love this dope.
Appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Say it again.
All right.
Say it again. Say it again, Black.
You can't love somebody to love you. Like, I'm going to just love them so hard. If I really prove my love to this person, they going to love me back. How could they? You can't. If the person is malicious, love don't have no male intent. It shouldn't. Love does not willingly hurt your ass. If she's willingly doing shit that she don't hurt you with her children, she's not for you and she never will be. These people can't be trusted with nothing, unfortunately. My mother's the same way. My girl was the same way. She did
Yeah,
the
but
same
you got to
thing.
understand. You got to understand too that most black men will stay in a relationship for their children.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, I date black men, and I've seen a lot of them get in
Mm.
out of a marriage for 20 years because they stayed for their children. So, if you don't have children, you don't understand the decisions a black man will make about his children
Get
if he is a good man
custody.
and wants to
If
just be
if
there
she
for his children.
if she
He'll get
endangering them
custody.
kids, get custody. She gonna have to go. She got to
They were
bounce.
getting
She
drunk
endangering them
together.
anyway.
They were getting drunk together prior. He's military. She
Yeah,
had no kids.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
young. She had no kids. I'm sure they were getting drunk together. That's a
Damn.
lot of
yeah,
judgmental behind
yeah.
something that's now an issue. They have children. So now that they have children, he's making the safest space for his children without her
And the
running
Well,
other question,
off to her family to Mexico.
and the other question was she a big drinker before him?
They were drinking together. Yes.
Yeah,
mm.
well, I know they were drinking together, but I said, was she a big drinker before him? This is just a question. You don't have
I
to
don't
go.
know her before him. I only
Oh,
know
I
her
thought
with
you knew
him.
her. I thought you
I
knew her.
know
Okay,
him
all right, that's
before her. But
copy.
when I
All
met her,
right,
they
y'all.
was drunk. So,
All right,
I gotta
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Vice
Peace.
Black.
All right, hey,
All right.
so like, yep. So I'm getting ready to clock out here
A
too.
lot of
Right now,
people
I gotta
drink,
go.
though. I mean,
A lot of people
everyone
drink.
handles drink different.
A lot. A lot of people drink. A lot of people talk. A lot of people do all kinds of things, but a lot of people don't have self control and they don't have discipline and they're afraid to accept responsibility. So that's what I always say accountability is the lack of accepting your responsibility.
True.
Like acknowledging that that you were not responsible. That's how I always look at it. I think that yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. You getting drunk, doing all kinds of things. Yeah, we stopping this thing early. I'm not getting married to you because if I got to pay alimony or child support, that's fine. I get that, but like I'm not trying to pay you alimony either. You know what I mean? So I understand that position,
That's what it would
but
be.
like I think
Alimony.
yeah, but I always tell all my young brothers like in advance. That's all. I told my one homeboy, and he thought I was crazy because he had this one girl. I'm not going to pull his name out just in case he pop in there. He does pop in from time to time, and he was dating this girl. We were in college, and he was dating her, and she was always getting dead drunk. When they would both get drunk as hell. And then but occasionally she would smoke, like get her black mile out. She would smoke occasionally, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm cool with it, man. That doesn't bother me." I was like, "Listen, it does not bother you now, but it will bother you." I'm sorry, brother. It's hood people, bro. You squinting at me, looking sideways. It's hood people. I was like, "It doesn't bother you now, but it's going to bother you eventually." And something else she did too. I'm not going to go too much into their business. Something else she did, and I was like, "It does not bother you now, but it will bother you soon." And I always I always talk about like with my relationship, like there are some things, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Sometimes you have to put your foot down on some things and you have to like set a precedent. Like for example, if you have somebody and you give them address and tell them what time they're supposed to be somewhere, and they show up on the other side of town and they call you to tell you that they're ready, you know what I mean? There's nothing you can do. You know, sometimes it happens. But I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say. Oh my goodness. Hey, but by the way, DJ Blue came out to see me, man. He was
I
awesome, man.
saw
It was
the
an
picture.
awesome time.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, it was an awesome
Hold on,
time.
hold on a second, sir. Hold on a second.
What's up?
Look, Kyle.
Yes.
You like your brother,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
I know that you went
Yeah,
to
much
school
younger.
for. That's
Much younger.
fine.
Okay.
I didn't know you went to school for archaeology.
Oh,
Bring it up.
oh, oh no, that's not me. The ladies. They got all those jobs, bro. They are the best. They say because the ladies most archaeologists are women because they're excellent at digging up the past. that was funny.
So, like,
Hey, the past is the past.
you see the picture that we took. I posted the picture.
I did.
I was like, hey, and then so he posted another picture saying that inferring, not showing documented evidence, inferring by the written words on the picture that he's taller than me. And then he circles the fact
Well,
that he was flat-footed.
feet are flat. Yes.
You're not
Yes.
taller than Blue.
Well, according to the picture, I am taller than Blue. I mean, I hear the talk. Men lie, women lie. The picture didn't. Okay. According to the picture, I am taller.
That was the
Look at the red line.
angle. That was
It
the
wasn't an angle. It was a straight shot. What do you mean an angle? Look at the man standing
You
in
are
front
not
of us.
6'5", Kyle.
Blue is not 6'5", DJ.
I'm 6'4".
He's
I,
6'4". You're not 6'5".
he,
You said you're taller. So if you're
no,
taller,
no, no,
you're
no.
six
He was
four and a
wearing some
half
boots.
or
He was,
6'5".
he was wearing boots.
I was what?
Listen, I'm 6'3".
Hold on.
I'm 6'3" and a half. I don't know how tall he is. I just know that I was taller that day.
You 6'2", Kyle.
No, I'm not. What are you talking about, little girl? Girl,
Hold
you
on.
ain't
You
but
said I
5'3". You better fall back. You ain't allowed to talk up here at this level. We talking grown folks up here talking 6'4", 6'3". We talking. You know, 5'3s. You guys need to sit back and just chill. How are you doing though? How's the baby?
She good. I'm feeding her all day today.
hell.
All right, get her right, because she's gonna have to be
Hey,
ready for Dominic. Get her right.
Hi.
What's going
beautiful.
on, Casey?
How are you?
How are you doing?
Good.
Casey, you okay with a prenup? You not?
No.
Tell me. Okay, maybe I have a wrong definition of it. Tell me if I agree, if I'm right or wrong, you guys. I feel like whatever, when the day we get married, whatever you made before me is not mine if we divorce, or I can't fight for it or anything. I walk away with what I came with. You walk away with what you came with. But anything after we get married, if we made money after, then we do split it, right?
I mean,
I can go with that. I can go with. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead, Kyle.
I was
So
saying I can go with that.
like if we start a business together, if we start a business together after we get married,
Yeah,
then we split that.
but I can go with that. I can go with your business. Like if your business, you had a business before me, I don't think I have the right to take off from that business. However, if that business flourished and grew because of me and things that I did to help you be able to spend more time at it and do other things or insights that I gave you for it, then yeah, I think that the person is entitled. I mean, because
Yes,
that's what I think. But like
to an
just
agreed
being able
amount,
to take,
right?
yeah, to an agreed
Okay.
amount, yes. Yes, I
So
don't think you're
yeah, I
just
don't
supposed
want
to
to
just
take.
get
I
everything.
honestly am okay with it because okay, say I marry, I don't know who is
Flavor Flav. All right, so
that.
Flavor
That was
Flav.
cute. No, who would I marry?
Flavor Flav.
Okay, so if I married a man that averages, okay, if I married a neurosurgeon, and the day I say I do, he's a neurosurgeon, and he makes $760,000 a year. I make my daughter. My daughter wants. That's her field, so I'm just jumping in her field and what she's been researching lately. But so um, when we get married, that was your money. When I get married, I had my money. But if we get together and say, you cheat on me and we have to break up, I don't have rights. I signed to not have rights to any of your money when we split. I'm going to walk away with what I came with. But flip side, if we opened an event space that I want together and it was successful and we were together 10, 12 years and I got the 13 locations I want, but we did it together, then that we will split if you don't give it all to me. So that's how I look at it. If I make money with you, then that's fine. We can split it. But I don't want none of your money. Because I promise you, I divorced my ex-husband and I just don't like to argue. So I gave him everything and I just took off to Atlanta with nothing.
No, I get that. So here's the thing. For me, my philosophy is, I think, and someone said it already, I don't initially agree with the prenup because when I get married, I don't intend to get divorced. And of course, we know stuff happens, not naive, but I'm not entering into it to ever have to utilize this prenup. So with that being said, if it was a non-negotiable for my fiance, I would sign it as an offering that I'm in this for you, right? And not in it for the money or the assets that you have coming into it. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to sign it excitedly, right? But I'm also not going to let that be the deal breaker for the union and the marriage because I would hope that I've made a prayerful decision enough that I'm not going to have to ever utilize the prenup agreement because we are dissolving the marriage. But in theory, no, I believe that what I come into this relationship with now becomes ours. You know, that's just always been my
Right.
philosophy. Because if I'm holding on to my stuff, then what is the point of getting married? You know, my family is now your family. Your family is my family. If I am a genius in a particular industry, that's going to benefit the family, right? It doesn't, my expertise doesn't just benefit me and then it stops the day we get married, and my spouse and my family no longer benefit for all the things I go and I do and I make. And so I just have the mindset that whatever I have, whether it's a little or a lot, is now ours, right? And so that's why I philosophically don't believe in a prenup, but I'll never let it stop me from getting married if he, or you know, if he really was adamant about, no, I want a prenup to protect my assets, then okay, we sign it, right? And we keep it moving. But it wouldn't be something that I would ever offer or something that
See,
I
and
would do.
I'm big on
I,
warranties. I like
but you know
warranties,
what?
so I buy a
I,
warranty on everything I buy. I don't
I
care; it
get it.
might break.
but you know what?
I don't.
I always
God
say this.
said, trust no man.
Okay,
So
here's what I say. Here's what I say. Here's what I say. It didn't say that exactly, but here's what I say.
yes, he did.
Someone tell me. Okay, someone tell me the marriage that you know of where the person signed a prenup and that marriage lasted over 10 years.
My friend's been married now 16 years, and they have a prenup.
16
Yeah,
years. Okay. What
he's
other one?
playing for
Okay,
the Chargers, and they
so
have
that's
one.
one. Okay, so that's one of the thousands that you know. Well, how many
I
more?
mean, I'm not in their business, so I wouldn't know. I
No,
just
but
know theirs.
what I'm saying, long story short, it's not everyone can do that. It is a very difficult thing because some people actually believe in the whole love aspect of this thing, and when you include that, it kind of you're saying that like, hey, I need to do this because just in case you go do this and go do that, it it's for some people. I know for myself, if my wife was like, yo, I need to get a prenup, we'll get married, but I look at the marriage completely different.
I,
Completely,
I do
completely
too,
different.
but I just know God don't. I ain't never had no rich man, so that's just
I know,
hypothetically speaking. So I usually
but what
got
I'm
all the
saying,
money. So
I
next time I'm just
no,
telling
but
you,
what you just
I'm
said,
getting a
what you just
prenup.
said though, I know, but what you just said is you look at it different too. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that like you shouldn't do it, you can't do it. I'm saying that just be careful because it does change that person. When you
That
even
sucks
mention that,
because I think it's just a business. Um,
facts.
that sucks that
It's
changes stuff.
fact for some people because some people don't believe marriage is just a business. Like for me, I don't believe it's just a business. I get why a lot of leaders did it. I get that, but I don't really see it as a business. And so there's a lot of people that
If
feel
I
that same
have a
way. And some
child
people,
with you,
yeah,
that's different. But if I just marry you and you're already in your second whim, I'm grown. I'm not gonna marry. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my teens talking about marriage. I'm old, so I don't plan
so
on
yeah,
having
I
no
know that. I
But
know
kids.
that.
something Kyle said is also one of the reasons why I'm not like big on prenups, is because for me, it's not just a business transaction, right? I mean, my grandmother taught us a long time ago that love alone is not enough. So I'm aware of that. But I also see it as a spiritual union, right? I also see it as a part of fulfilling purpose and legacy. It's also about getting something done together, outside of, you know, something I can do on my own. Like, I just personally believe there's certain things that I'm not going to be able to tap into until I have a spouse, right? And I mean, folks can believe what they want, but some things you just do because you're joining purpose, you're joining legacy together. And so for me, because I come to it with that mindset, I don't, again, have the idea of this is mine, this is yours. But I do think that you have to be smart, right? Because there are going to be days where I don't like you, right? There are going to be days where we're going to have to rely on what we've built together and what we want to see together to get us through those days where you're getting on my nerves and I'm getting on your nerves.
Right.
So for me, it's both
Well, I
business
didn't
in the
say
sense
that.
of what's the purpose, and then wanting to be joined to someone because you have affection and affinity and love for them.
So I didn't say anything about love or anything of the connection. I said it's a business thing, meaning the prenup is a business agreement.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. Not the love. I wouldn't even get to a marriage state. That love is separate. than a prenup. And that's what I'm trying to say. I don't understand how it becomes one. Why is that connected to one? It's a business proposition for two people joining together, ensuring or putting in place something that if something happens, for instance, children are involved, things like that. This is the thing. I have trust. I have so much that I have that if my husband, if something happened to me, who has choice over me now? Regardless, if I didn't have a prenup, he does, right? He could have been cheating on me the whole time. I don't know what's going on, but now my daughter is left, and he has to dictate where all of my stuff goes because there was no prenup in place. So now my child, that's not his child, is suffering, and I would never know because he's my husband without a prenup. So I'm just
No,
saying.
I get it.
I'm just
I don't
saying
know
in the
whose
space of
success.
I'm saying in the space of business because I've seen a lot of people go through deaths and problems when it comes to a spouse. So what I'm saying is doing it ever again, I know for a fact it will be a business structure and when it comes to finances. And he can
No,
take
I
his
totally.
money and go, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna take my money and go if we don't choose to be together. We have a child, sir, help take care of this
No,
child. But
I
with
hear
me,
you.
I don't want it.
Success.
I don't want your money.
Success mentor Thomas brought up something that I'm in the process of doing now, and it's the idea of protecting your assets. So, for instance, so I have a business, right? And so one of the things I've been working on is how do I protect my business in a trust,
Yep.
right? That is business only.
Yep.
So if something were to happen to the relationship, that person, especially if I'm employing other people or if I have other business partners, right? That if something happens to the marriage, now I'm not putting other people's livelihood in jeopardy because of a dissolved marriage. So I think that there are ways to protect your assets and protect your money without saying, nope, this is mine, right? And that's yours, and let's figure out how to divvy it up. I know it's not the same thing, but a lot of times when people have prenups, the next step is, do you have a joint account? Do we have separate accounts? Do we have one account where we put our portion of the household bills in this account and that's what we use? I'm old school because I watched my parents do it. All the money went into the same pot. And that's not to say my mama was not a smart woman and she may not have had a couple of hundred, hidden in the house someplace for an emergency,
Right.
but their paychecks went into one account and they discussed, okay, what are the priorities for our family, right? Regarding bill pay, whatever's left over, and move that way. I don't know, and maybe I'm idealistic in this thing. I've never been married, so full disclosure, y'all definitely have way more experience in that area than I do, but I just don't think of the idea of marriage of still figuring out how to keep your individuality, not as a person and a personality, but
Yeah.
moving as a single person. Like, what's the point of then doing that business transaction of signing that marriage certificate if I'm still going to move separately?
So why do you think you're moving? Why do you think I'm moving separately if I want a prenup? Because a prenup is just a piece of paper and that's it.
I think it's what the piece of paper conveys, right? So it's not that I think any decision is wrong. Like, people have to do what's necessary for them. But I think what it conveys for me, or why the paper itself, it literally says, this part of my life you have no access to.
Right.
Okay, I wasn't there, so I don't deserve Kobe's money.
Hey, so listen, I'm gonna
Right,
tell
but
y'all
you're
something.
benefiting from it still in some shape, form, or fashion, because his money is going to make money, or at some point that money is going to
If I have
purchase or impact
children,
something.
if I have his children, that's what I'm trying to make clear. Like, I'm speaking from where I am now. I'm not having any more children. So if I get married, it's going to be to whoever, and no matter what amount money he makes, I don't care if he makes 50, 30, 40, 50,000 and I'm making 100, 200, 300,000. Regardless, I would want you to leave with what you came with, and I don't want your money, even if you do me wrong. and I'm gonna leave what I came with. But my plan, and ask God to do, is to definitely send me a man that is business minded and wants to open a business with me.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do that after the marriage, then yeah, that's not moving separate. I want a man to, well, let's do business together. You know what I mean? So I know I'm very business minded. So for me, I want to like do that with my husband, preferably.
Yeah.
And I want to, whether he's going to be a leader, so I work under him, but I want to sell him the idea of the plan I have. So even if we go and we make this money together, then yeah, of course that's our money. You know, we're together, we're married. But
So
anything that you did before me, I don't want your money, and I don't. You know, I think we should work and
But I
build
think
together.
even with that, you have the option, if the marriage was to dissolve, to say, I don't want alimony, right? Pay your child support. But I think that there are things in place now where without a prenup, if you're the type of woman who says, I don't want anything that you have the ability to say, I don't want to. Because a lot of times women get that because they're asking for it. Not because it's just a flat out rule
Yeah,
that someone
ask for
down
it.
the middle.
They want it.
Right.
Right.
you know what, on this one, I would say that, like, hey, I don't call your way of life and the way you're thinking about this thing wrong. That's your opinion, and that's what you would go for, what I go for. For me, let's say if my wife like was not here and somebody's talking about marrying me and they're like, oh, we're gonna have to sign a prenup. I don't want to marry you. And if I do marry you, just know that you're not marrying the man that you think you're marrying, because you've destroyed all the possibility of what we could be. Because when we get married, in my mind, the way that I see it is we're joining together. We're taking all of what I am and all of what you are. We're joining together. You don't marry me if you don't trust me. And if you trust me, you don't question me like that. That's how I think about it. So I'm not knocking nobody else's thought process. That's cool. I'm just saying, for me, that's how I think about it now. It could be right, could be wrong. You could get bit in the butt. I mean, protection from that, right? There's no protection from that. I just
If I
think, like,
was a TV, I wouldn't let you buy me, Kyle, because you wouldn't
huh?
get one. If I was a TV, I wouldn't let you buy me, because you would just rely on me to never break, and you would trust me so much as your television
Oh,
to
no.
you
See,
know, and insure me to make sure you can get me fixed, or
I wouldn't rely on you to never break. Here's the thing: things break usually because they're mishandled, right? Like, if I have, like, with my TVs last me a very
sometimes
long
they
time. Huh?
sometimes they
Manufacturer
I'm getting,
defects.
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
manufacturer
But see,
defect,
here's the thing: I'm a
soul
Total Tech member. I'm Total
ties,
Tech.
generational
I'm
curses.
Total Tech. I'm Total Tech. If you got that many problems, I'm gonna take you to them and let them fix you. All right, like, and
Well, ain't no
then if you
divorce
can't
with
be
you
fixed,
then. Ain't no divorcing with you then. You
hey, here, put it like this. My thing is, when I believe in those vows, for better or for worse. That stuff, I think a lot of times people nowadays, they have forgotten what that means, for better or for worse. They think it just means, okay, as long as we cool, and if we have an argument or a disagreement, then we just need to, like, try to be civil. No, for better or worse means if you lost your memory, you didn't have a memory, I'm going to love you and be there. That's my job as a man, as a husband. And if I broke my leg and I could not work and I had nothing, you hold it down,
Yeah.
and you hold it down for the family. That's what we're supposed to do for each other, right? Like, that's our jobs. Am I
Yeah, I don't
wrong
know
for
if
that?
I think she swiped because she dropped down. But I mean,
Yeah, she.
I agree with you, Kyle. I'm in the same, I think the same framework and way of thinking, that I just whatever short of you beating me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's different. That's different.
right,
That's different.
right. But what I'm saying is, short of
Yeah,
something egregious happening,
yeah.
we could get married and the next day you become incapacitated. Like, I have to take on all those risks the day I agree to marry you and I say I do. And so I think the same way about the money. If I'm willing to take the risk that you can become sick or ill, where I have to now care for you a lot sooner than I thought, I had to consider that before I said I do. Right. And so if I'm going to take the risk that life is not going to be beautiful and roses, literally the day after, 30 days, 2 years after we walk down that aisle, I have to assume the same risk when it comes to money.
That's how it goes, and I agree with you 100%. That's the thing. Like your money, obviously, you're not just giving your money to somebody that's just drunk all the time, selling stuff, stealing stuff. You got to use some wisdom, right? We got to use wisdom. However, people don't just all of a sudden become that. No one just becomes that. All right, like they just like you got to pick them up off the floor every day. They don't just become that. It grows into that. Blue, do you agree with that or no?
I agree.
No one just becomes that. So it's to be, you got to be cognizant of what's happening around you and that person. And like, if you really care about that person, if you really say you love whoever you love, you got to notice those things, and you have to be there. You have to be that strength that they don't have, because nobody can see. That's why you have air traffic control. Pilots can't see what's going on out there, what the other pilots are doing. You got to have an air traffic control. That's what they're for. You know what I mean? So if you got somebody that has a problem with directions, sometimes you have to be air traffic control, help them get to where they need to get to on time.
Yeah, but they might not have shown you who they really were until it's too late.
If you're at the point, outside of that guy who married that girl after 9 days, okay, that one, hey, outside of that one, if you've been with somebody 4 or 5 years and you haven't done the research or the work to even know them, to get to know who they are, and you don't know, like Blue, we only spent like a weekend with each other, right? Like out here, obviously, it's not like that, people. But we only spent like a weekend, like yeah, exactly. We only spent like a weekend, like around each other. I know a lot about you, and you know a lot about me, and how we carry ourselves, how we conduct our business, and how we do things. That's because questions get asked. We watch. I see you watch and see how people interact with different things and how it has. I'm not stupid. People think I'm talking and they think that like I'm not watching. That's how I watch people, because I can see you when you're just listening. Supposedly, I can tell when you're listening and when you're not. Right. So like, you have to do the work. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
On that note, y'all, I'm going inside. I gotta go spend some time with my beautiful baby boy and my beautiful wife, who I love like crazy. And by the way, I am going to invite y'all. She's not on here. I don't think she's in this room, right? Yeah, she's not here. So sometimes she comes in here like incognito in different rooms I'm in. So listen, I'm getting ready to do something. I'm going to be doing an event for her, right? Because we didn't get a chance to have our 10-year anniversary the way I wanted to do it, because we were having the baby. All right. So like, and because it was right around the time of having the baby, and it just wouldn't have worked out right. It would have been we couldn't travel with the baby. It wouldn't have worked. So I'm going to have a 10-year anniversary party.
Yeah.
And we're going to take that. I said in my vows and my wedding vows, I said, I only have but one regret, that I can't turn back time and relive falling in love with you all over again. So we're going to take it back. We're going to take it back to college days. We're going to take it back to college days. So y'all going to get a chance to see young Duff with my Kango, my big old jeans, and all. Me back in the day, have my little Invicta on my wrist. It's going to go back. So I'm going to invite all of y'all to the party when we do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all are not all of y'all, because some of y'all ain't coming. But I got to be real. Sorry, it is what it is. There's levels to this. There's levels. All right, so brother, on this note, I'm gonna head out. It was an absolute pleasure being on here with both of you all. Do you got directions to go to sleep tonight? Do you know where you're sleeping at? I don't want you to go to Highland to go to sleep. I want you to make sure you can get home. Good night, guys.
I mean,
Man, look at that. 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, right on the dot.
good job.
Good job. All right, we're going to get out of here anyway. Had a little technical difficulty at the beginning, but it's all good. So, I'll be on with, I don't know if Smitty's okay. Smitty just had surgery, so I'm not sure if he'll be on tomorrow night. But
I checked on him. He said he was good, but I don't know if he's going to be on tomorrow.
right. And I think I'm actually going to start my new thing. I'm going to do a dating show with my brother. I'm not doing Thursday night because it's hard to go against football. Friday night, I'll do a dating show with my brother, in spite of.
Well, you should tell the folks that if they have single friends, unattached friends, friends who are in placeholder relationships, to tune in on Friday so they can maybe find the real love of their lives.
Sounds good. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. This is The Way.
Bye.